So just like every one of you in the room, I've experienced some challenges in my life, some of which I packed and carried as baggage from that I experienced as a little girl and throughout the years. I spent most of my life trying to hide my mistakes, my trials, my challenges, really almost creating a full-time job in doing so. I allowed those things to keep me in bad relationships, to push me to narcotic abuse, to push me to alcoholism and a life of secrecy. In the last few years, after I was introduced to Christ, I started to develop some transparency that was way, way beyond my comfort zone. God allowed me to start sharing some of my deep secrets with others, and because of that, I was able to develop some extremely meaningful relationships and bonds that I never imagined that I could make. I was able to be helped and to help others through that vulnerability. So if I could choose one thing that you received from my poem today, it would be to stop hiding our biggest regret, our most painful hurt, the most embarrassing mistake, because that is the very thing that God can use to help create priceless bonds and for us to help others.
Right.
So let's reflect on the giants that we have as examples in God's word. They were all flawed. Gideon's issue was of low self-esteem. David's was of adultery. Peter's was of impulsive behavior. So in short, don't waste your pain. With all of that said, the poem is Still I Stand. He carves me continuously into something I thought I'd never be. What is he carving? I don't exactly know, but his work on me started long ago. The precise year of my first trial, I don't recall. I must have been about 5 or 6. Exposed to the raw pain of sexual abuse. Really? Why does this even exist? At that age, his work by me was not understood. Years went by of sweeping things under the rug. Instances where I thought I didn't remember. Others where I nearly drowned in tears anytime that I would. As I got older, I started to date, becoming a prime target for those that can manipulate. I was confused, didn't know what to make of it. Maybe I believed that I deserved to be in toxic relationships. My first long-term boyfriend, he was an athlete, easy on the eyes. My low self-esteem kept me there despite his cheating, despite his lies. In between all of this, you think I'd catch a break. But not yet. For now, I get hit with another ton of bricks. At the age of 18, I found my brother lifeless. I must be having a nightmare. Someone, anyone, help me wake. I became a prisoner, trapped in my own body. Never imagined that death would be in the same room staring back at me. That's it, no more. I had hit my limits. Only to discover I had to brace myself because his work wasn't quite finished. It seemed to be one thing after another, some big, some small. Each trial breaking me down just a little bit more. Until the point I could not bear to live my life at all. The hour came when I fantasized about suicide, no longer wanting to deal with living. Looking for a place where it didn't hurt anymore. Which way out was all I had to decide. Desperate, I felt I had nowhere to go. It was then that I knew I had reached my ultimate low. And it was then that I knew that help was what I needed. I swallowed my pride, and for someone to extend a hand, I silently pleaded. And he sent aid to me in the form of a loving sister. I struggled with opening up, but she showed me her life was not perfect. She had experienced more than her share, Bad relationships, depression, wolves in sheep's clothing had not missed her. Years of therapy came, and not until I crossed that storm did it make sense that Jesus knew everything that I felt. Every tear, every groan, he heard it. Yeah. My experience was only a tiny fraction of what he was dealt. And I'll be honest, the transition was rough and it was not overnight. I mean, after all, I am human. I bleed, I cry. Problems still come into my life. But the truth is, you are not alone, and neither am I in this fight. He is my strength, and he is there every time and any time I call him. He takes care of me beyond belief and beyond my mistakes. His promises he will not and cannot break. It wasn't until years after these natural disasters that I realized weaknesses weave tight bonds. All of God's giants had flaws. My shared vulnerability is going to be a part of somebody else's happily ever after. He has so many things in store for you and me. There isn't anything in my life that isn't his will. Yes, even trials. And whatever comes, I know he will keep my mind and heart still. If you don't already know what he wants of you, reflect on how you can help others by simply sharing what you're going through. He will go before you, encourage you, mold and heal you from the beginning of time to the end of time and always on time. Thank you.